And whoa, we're going to balance that camera perfectly so it doesn't fall and that you can see me. A little dark. Actually, how's that? Perfect. Jennifer McCreath, December 10th, 2013. Part 2 of a video that I thought would be about 5 minutes. The battery's conked out on the camera after, what, about 17 minutes? We're talking about a tweet that was sent out by Lisa Dempster, Liberal provincial member of House of Assembly for the district of Cartwright-Lansa-Clare up in beautiful Labrador, suggesting that this sitting of the House of Assembly was a waste and nothing meaningful got accomplished and it was all fluff. Member of the government, Paul Lane, contacted me, of all people, asking for my opinion on whether or not this was a fair assessment. And I thought it would be a great idea to turn the camera on and actually take a detailed look at the work done in this House of Assembly by the government and obviously the opposition parties as well. I talked about the fact that 19 bills were not only tabled but passed through the process and made and sworn into law. I reviewed, I guess, half of those bills before the camera conked out, and I gave my opinions on whether or not I felt the bills added value to Newfoundlanders and whether or not I felt the bills were full of substance or just full of fluff. We got about halfway through the list, perhaps a little more. I was in the process of talking about the Act to amend the Insurance Adjusters Agent and Brokers Act, and I'm just going to turn the camera a little more that way. Very carefully. It's balancing on an angle. It might fall, so if it does, stay with us, folks. Whereas an individual partnership or corporation is licensed as an agent, broker, representative, and maintains one or more trust accounts that individuals, partnerships, corporations shall present annually to the superintendent not later than 3 months after the fiscal year end of the agent, broker, or representative, a statement of the financial affairs of the business of the license in a form prescribed by the superintendent for the period then ended. I like to think I'm a pretty bright person. You know, I understand legalese and this type of stuff, but even I couldn't tell you what that meant. No clue, to be honest. I'm going to have to read this again. Oh, is that just a preamble? A statement of affairs. Basically, it's about accountability, I guess. If you're doing something with insurance, you have to justify what you're doing. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Superintendent may exempt a person or class of persons from the requirement in subsection 1, in whole or in part, with the restrictions, limitations, or conditions the superintendent considers appropriate. Ah, so I see. I'm just going to... Why can't this light get a little brighter? So this superintendent person has the power of veto to do whatever the hell he or she desires, perhaps without having to justify it. So you can tell insurance adjusters, agents, or brokers that they can disregard the policies and procedures. Well, I think that sets a dangerous precedent. I really do. I don't like this. I don't like giving absolute power to one person, no matter who the hell they are. People need to be held accountable. People are people. We're humans. We make mistakes. We do stupid things sometimes, even if we're superintendents. Even if we're the Queen of England, perhaps. Even if you're me, Jennifer McCreath. People need to operate in a government environment based on policies and procedures. So if they do something and they screw it up, they can at least hold up this document and say, I did what I was told I was supposed to do. And this is why I do what I do. Right? Makes sense? I won't even call this fluff. I'll call this a controversial piece of legislation. One that I'm surprised Lisa Dempster didn't stand up in the House and whine and bitch about. That's what you're supposed to do, you critics there. If you sit for the Liberals, the NDPs, or the Dale Kirby Mitchellmores, you're supposed to stand up and criticize and critique questionable and controversial moves by the government. And you're supposed to do so in a way that gets you media attention. You want to be on the 6 o'clock news so all those people out there in Newfoundland know what's going on in the House and they know that you're pissed off and disappointed. I'm surprised nobody raised this issue. I'm raising it right now. And we'll move on to the next one. How about that? Where are we? We did that one. Food Safety in Food Premises Act, new. Brand new piece of legislation. Never existed before. Until today, December 10th, 2013. An act respecting food safety in food premises. Let's see what... Oh, this is a very long piece of legislation. I'll just give you a summary. A person shall not sell or distribute to any person any food which is unfit for human consumption. Food which is used in a food premises shall be obtained from an approved source. Notwithstanding subsection 1, an operator may obtain fresh fruit and vegetables from a farmer. And a licensed in-province retail fish establishment may obtain fish from a fish harvester. Minister may issue a license to operate a food premises. Person shall not operate food premises without a license. License shall be issued only to a specific person with respect to specific food premises. On and on and on, again and again and again. I am very surprised that we have existed as a province of Newfoundland and Labrador for 74 years and we have not had legislation about food safety. It's about time. I'm glad this is here. What took us so long? Fluff or no fluff? Was there... I know this is not the first time. We have had some sort of standards. It was in the media last year, something to do with restaurant inspections and privacy of said reports. Is this really a brand new piece of legislation, or is this repackaging something else to make it look new? I'm going to say this is fluff. I really am. I cannot honestly believe that we would not have had rules about food distribution and food safety ever before. If not, correct me. Call me out on this. Anybody. I welcome that. We're almost through the list. The Law Societies Act was amended to clarify the definition of law firm to exclude sole member professional law corporations and to expand the list of persons who may hold non-voting shares in a professional law corporation to include immediate family members of the practicing lawyers of the professional law corporation. Okay, I'm not sure I like this. We've heard the law firms X, Y, and Z. What if you're just X? What if you have no other lawyers that want to work with you, but you're still a lawyer? Why shouldn't you be allowed to be a law firm? I'm not sure I agree with this. As far as expanding the list of persons who may hold non-voting shares in a professional law corporation, that deals with owning a company. So you cannot, previously you could not own a law company unless you were a lawyer, I gather. Now your family members can own your company but not have a voting say. Fluff. That is definitely fluff. I'm sorry, folks. I can't give you that one. That is fluff. Don't like the act or the amendment. Loan and Guarantee Act 1957. That was a long time ago, folks. Apologies to those of you who were born before that. I'm not necessarily calling you old. I'm just saying in the life cycle of legislation, that's an old piece of legislation. An act to amend the Loan and Guarantee Act. What the heck is this? The bill would amend the schedule to this act respecting Newfoundland Labrador Immigrant Investor Fund Limited, a Crown Corporation, to receive and invest in the province's monthly allocation of funds received from participation in the Government of Canada's redesigned business immigration program. You still with me? Money received from immigrant investors is to be repaid. Oh my. This has to do with money being loaned and money being guaranteed to a particular organization. Somebody's bending the rules here. Either it's us or it's the feds or it's both. Or somebody's not able to pay back the money they owe, or... Basically, we're bending the rules here a little bit and justifying it. I mean, you got to have a little elasticity in government. See, this isn't elastic. For those of you folks that have never taken economics, the more elastic something is, the more you can twist and bend the rules, usually in terms of finances. Something like that. Not fluff. This is a serious issue here. Is this the right decision? Should we be allowing exceptions and exemptions to paying back loans for the Newfoundland Labrador Immigrant Investor Fund Limited? Well, that's a matter of personal political opinion. It is what it is. I don't recall Lisa Dempster or anyone else raising concern with this in the media, so I would take this to stay that they either don't know or don't care or are indifferent, which would be the same as don't care. The Human Rights Act was amended. Bill 25. This bill would amend the Human Rights Act to add gender identity and gender expression as prohibited grounds of discrimination. Well, we like to pride ourselves here, not only in Newfoundland, but in Canada, of being world leaders in equality and human rights. This is a piece of legislation that is quite similar to something that's been done in many other jurisdictions. Newfoundland is finally jumping on board and recognizing that just because people have a gender identity or gender expression that may appear to be variant from social norms doesn't mean they should face discrimination. I agree. This is an important piece of legislation. It affects me personally. Well, no secret on that. This is not fluff. This is important stuff. Lisa Dempster, I held an event a couple of weeks ago commemorating lives lost to transgendered individuals in this world due to hate and discrimination. And I wrote the Liberal Party and asked them to either attend the event or give a statement, and I got nada, zero, zilch, nothing. I got to question you, Lisa Dempster, and you, Liberal Party. If you think this is fluff, why the hell should people like myself, a transgendered person, ever vote for you? Ever. Ever. Let's move on. Healthcare Associations Act, brand new. This would repeal the Healthcare Association Act. It would vest the real and personal property of the Newfoundland Labrador Health Board Association in the Crown, transfer responsibility for the obligations and liabilities of the Newfoundland Labrador Health Board Association to the Crown. So we are taking these healthcare associations, whoever they are, making them part of the Crown. I thought here in Canada, healthcare was run by government. And if you're not part of the government, you're not part of the Crown. So my understanding by reading this is that we have healthcare government-run organizations that are not considered part of government. That makes absolutely no sense to me. I think this is completely redressing something and putting a different label on it. This one, in my opinion, is fluff. It makes absolutely no sense, and I don't think it adds any value to my life or yours. Again, if you disagree, feel free to rebut what I have to say here. This is just little old me reviewing stuff that I've never seen until today. I'm not proclaiming to be an expert on any of this stuff. I'm just commenting and trying to encourage you, the viewers, to pay attention to what goes on in your government so you can make informed decisions every election. We got 2 more to go. I know that the first video is 17 minutes and this one's up to 14. You've wasted 30 minutes of your time. Thank you for watching. We're almost done. The Adoptions Act has been amended. It's Bill 27, for those of you keeping score. It would repeal and replace the Adoptions Act to modernize and clarify the law respecting adoptions. It would expand the definition of relative, remove the requirement that prospective adopted parents reside in the province for 6 months before a child can be placed with them, allow a person to have a court order for permanent custody of a child and who has had custody of that child under temporary or permanent custody order for at least 2 years to adopt that child in the same manner as a relative or step-parent adoption. Provide for adult adoptions. Allow the court to authorize a person to apply for adoptions. This is a very big, long, complex bill. And I like it. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. We live in a world where it's not just mommy and daddy. Sometimes it's mommy and stepdaddy. Sometimes it's mommy and mommy. If you're fit, capable, and suitable, and willing to adopt and take care of someone, Make it happen. Good piece of legislation. Congratulations, government. I like this one. This is definitely not fluff, Lisa Dempster. The Schools Act. It's the last one, folks. I promise. Bill 28, an act to amend the Schools Act. It would require every school to have a school code of conduct. Doesn't necessarily say what needs to go in that code of conduct, though. It will require teachers, principals, school councils, school boards, and directors to promote a safe and caring learning environment. Define safe and caring, please. Allow a board to appoint an associate director. Increase the maximum number of assistant directors a board may appoint. And allow the minister to issue policy directives relating to a safe and caring learning environment. I believe this was the much hyped anti-bullying legislation. There's no substance, though. What did all that mean? You need to have, what do we call it? A code of conduct. What if your code of conduct sucks? What if it says bullying's tolerated? No, not good enough. You need some teeth. You're going to have legislation. You got to have teeth. This is not good enough, folks. Fluff. Maybe not totally fluff. I mean, the concept is good, but there's work that needs to go into this. Transgender kids are getting bullied in schools right here in Newfoundland. There's one in Grand Falls, Windsor, who came out to my event. 10-year-old kid. Hi, Jennifer. I'm 10 years old. I'm transgendered. I'm getting bullied at school. What do I do? Well, government, what are you going to do? You've put money into a program run by eGale Canada, a gay lesbian organization, not a transgender organization, obviously not meeting the needs of transgender students. Transgender students are being bullied in your schools, and this piece of legislation has done zero to help them. There you go. Like I said, fluff. You need to engage the bullied. And in this case, engage someone like myself, who understands what it's like to go through this. Only then can you come up with solutions. Yes. So we've got 19 pieces of legislation that reached royal assent today, proclaimed into law. So going back to that original tweet, Lisa Dempster saying this was the longest fall sitting without one piece of meaningful legislation. Light and fluffy feel-good stuff, what a waste of taxpayers' money. And of course, to recap, the government member Paul Lane reached out to me, of all people, asking me what I think. Specifically, do I think the human rights legislation is meaningless? Well, you've just spent 35 minutes watching me talk about what they did in the House. I think they did a lot of good things. Yes. Sure, there was some fluff in there. Without one piece of meaningful legislation? Sorry, Lisa Dempster, I don't agree with that statement. I think that was completely out of line, disrespectful, especially to people who are affected by these affected in a positive manner, positive way. People who are positively affected by these 19 bills would take offense to you saying that they are waste of taxpayer money or fluff. Foot in the mouth, new rookie M probably hasn't tweeted a lot. I mean, yeah, we all say stupid things, right? Why did Paul Lane reach out to me? Probably because he knew he'd get a reaction, just like this one. Haha! Hope you all watched it. Hope you enjoyed it. By the way, I'll close with this remark. Lisa Dempster ran in a by-election for, as previously mentioned, the riding of Cartwright-Lanse-Clare, because the previous member had resigned to pursue other interests. I actually considered throwing my name into the hat. I was going to run for that job. But I figured that since I did not live in the riding, people might not take me seriously as a candidate. Well, you got Lisa Dempster, folks, and she's made a big blunder today on Twitter. She's made a real stupid comment, in my opinion, and one that I know is going to upset a lot of people and offend a lot of people. Maybe I should run in that riding. What do you think, people? I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, Jennifer McCreath, I won't take up any more of your time. Comments, questions, don't send them to me. Well, you can. Send them to your government and send them to Lisa Dempster and Paul Lane. Let them know what you think. They're the people you elected into this office. They're the people getting paid the big bucks to make these big decisions. Tell them what you think, folks. Otherwise, they might fluff around on you. Jennifer McCreath saying, have a good night.